Everyone, and welcome to Global History. It is Monday, November 23rd, 2020. We are on our 12th lesson where we're now going to learn about the rise of the Aztec. Our lesson objectives are I can describe the location of the Aztec, and I can describe the historical circumstances for the rise of the Aztec. So we're doing a little bit of geographic and historical context today. So, a little geographic reminder, we are strictly focusing on North and South America right now. And we're even more strictly just focusing on North America. Last week, we spent time looking at the Mayans, which was the civilization that was located in this region of Mexico. And now we're going to be shifting our focus to the Aztec, which are also in Mexico. So both the Maya and the Aztec were located in Mexico. And I'll mention this in a second, but we studied only the Mayan like classical time period from 250 to 950 CE, but we did learn that they existed for longer than that and that they have a little bit of overlap with the Aztec. However, they weren't like super connected with each other in like that they were interacting with each other. But the Aztec, which is this blue area right here, and we can zoom in and see that it's this sort of central area. And we have an even further zoomed in area of the capital, which the capital of the Aztecs was Tenochtitlan, which was an island located on this lake called Lake Texcoco. And this region or this area today is present day Mexico City. So if we compare, we see central Mexico here, and then we see it here as well. And if we were to zoom in, we would see a little body of water right here next to Mexico City. And what I was sort of mentioning earlier about, we know that the classical period is what we studied, but then there's this post-classical period, which was, included the fall of the Maya. And, because of their close proximity, we could make some assumptions that the Aztecs were influenced by the Maya in like what was the Maya architecture? What were their religions? What were their rituals? So on and so forth. And we're going to actually see a lot of similarities between the Maya and the Aztec. So just something interesting. But I just want to go back to this map again for some more geographic context of, we have Lake Texcoco, which again, the Aztecs lived on an island in Lake Texcoco. And then on the one side, there's the Gulf of Mexico, and on the other side, there is the Pacific Ocean. And, the Aztecs had like a pretty large area of land, but when we go to the timeline, we see that they only really existed for about 100 years, which is very different compared to the Maya. So they had a slightly different story, and we're going to sort of uncover like what even led to the rise of the Aztecs, which basically boiled down to that they were fighting over scarce resources and they were fighting for a desire for power. So that might actually explain in part why they only existed for about 100 years. We will also uncover in a couple of days what led to the fall of the Aztecs. And I know that this keeps coming up, but I really want to hammer this out now that we're really focusing on the Aztecs, is that the Aztec and the Inca. When we look at this map, we see the Aztecs in North America, we see the Inca in South America. And I calculated, like I looked up how long it would take to go from Mexico City to Machu Picchu, which basically the capitals of these two places, of these two empires, and it's about 3,000 miles. So that would be like us going from New York City to California. That's about 3,000 miles. So basically, why weren't the Aztec and the Inca trading with each other? It's because they lived on different continents. And if there's no way of communicating with each other, then how would they know that they even existed, and why would they even make this trek to go and meet each other? So really, to just make that super clear, this is why the Aztec and the Inca were not trading with each other. So anyways, we're going to spend a little time with our geographic context, and then we're going to look at the actual historical circumstances. you all should now navigate to your Jupyter inbox, head to the Padlet, and we are on step 2, where we're going to look at these two maps, which I also was just going over in the mini lesson video.